What's going on, guys? Naz here on the Spooling Up channel. Today back again with the MK4 Golf Gti 1.8 turbo, and I'm doing a video today on fitting this Airtec front mount intercooler. Finally, been holding it off for ages because they retail at about £500. I was lucky enough to get this, the whole piping kit, and the front crash bar that's already been trimmed off a guy who was breaking his Golf. I managed to get it for £300. It's in really good condition. Just a couple of bits where paint's flicked off it. Other than that, I've been told it's done 2,000 miles on the car. So yeah, can't wait to get this fitted. Obviously I've already got the Rep R32 bumper, so it should fit behind here nicely. And the piping kit for these Airtecs, another reason why I wanted to get one, not only because it's supposed to be the best one for the car, but it should be discreet and it should fit behind the bumper without too many problems. I did want to buy an eBay kit and show you guys my way of working out how that fitted on the car, but instead I've gone for an easy but more expensive option with the Airtec. So first thing first, I'm going to start taking bits apart and going to get the bumper off. Okay, so it has been a while since I've had this bumper on and off, and I've kind of forgotten exactly how to take it off, but I'm gonna work it out now. Shouldn't be too difficult. I just remember I need to get this bonnet release pull off, and just gonna use a flathead screwdriver to pry it off the mechanism, and then that'll be that. Right guys, so next we're gonna remove this grill here, and it literally does pull away and it will lift up out, but there's a tab in here, if you can see it, that you need to push, and once you push that down you can pull that and the whole thing should come off nicely. Right guys, so we've got all of these torque screws to remove as well, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the screws around at the wheel arches first, because it should make it easier to take off if we undo the middle last rather than the sides, because it won't be held on evenly. So I'm going to undo these down here in the wheel arch and then move to the next side, and then I'll go for the middle. Right, when you have a standard Golf Gti bumper, there are also some screws behind the grills on the side that you need to undo before you take the bumper off. Me, I'm just going to go for these Torx ones in the middle now, and then that should be it. I should be able to slide it off. Right, so now with the front bumper off, obviously we see the crash bar. Intercooler should be going behind there, so I might just try and mock it up for size, see what it looks like. And here is the standard little side mounted intercooler that comes with the MK4 Golf Gti, so that will be getting removed, and then the Airtec one will end up at the front. Right guys, so if we come down to this intercooler, in order to remove it we need to undo the two 10mm down here, and then obviously any attachments, any hoses that are also connected to the intercooler, we need to take those off as well. So I'm just going to start by undoing these two 10mm. Right guys, we also want to remove the map sensor. If you can see, I'm pointing at it with my finger at the minute down here, right here. So I'm going to remove this plug, and it's got two Phillips screws on it, so I won't be able to take it off until the intercooler's off, but for now you at least want to remove the plug. Okay, so now I've removed the map sensor plug, I'm just going to tuck it out of the way. I'm going to undo this pipe from here, because where it connects on down to the intercooler down there, I can't get on the Jubilee clip. And also I'm going to undo the pipe clip here where the intercooler connects on to what is commonly known as the pancake pipe, which you can see up here in the wheel well. It's this flat pipe right here. So I'm gonna undo that clip down here, like I said, and the one up in the top in the engine bay, and hopefully the intercooler will come out. Right guys, so I've just seen that there's another 10mm just on the corner down here, so I'm also gonna have to remove that. It's just another part of a bracket that holds this intercooler on. Right guys, so after having undone all of that, there still isn't enough movement to disconnect the intercooler from the pipes. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to come underneath here and disconnect to this pancake pipe. I believe it's held on by a 10mm, and obviously there's a hose clamp to undo as well. So I'm going to undo those and then hopefully I can pull it all out together. Now guys, a little bit of oil did come out, but you've got to remember this is the lowest point of the airflow connected to the turbo, so it is going to sit in this corner. So yeah, a little bit of it spilt out, but it's nothing to worry about too much. I'll just pull the rest of this out now and that'll be that. Right guys, so it wasn't too difficult. Intercooler's now off. Obviously I'll remove the sensor in a bit. I'm just going to turn my attention now to removing all of this hard piping, disconnecting this hose that goes to the N75 and the one that goes to my diverter valve. There's a bracket here and there's also a bracket down there. I'm just going to try and undo everything now, take it all off, get everything off the turbo, and then I can start having a look at where the routing for the new intercooler piping goes, because obviously I don't have the instructions and it's just been ripped off another car, but it shouldn't be too difficult. Right guys, so I'm still yet to disconnect these two hoses here. I've taken the heat shield off this pipe here. It's simple, it just all pops in like button poppers, so I'm going to remove them. I've taken the pancake pipe off as well from down here. It's pretty simple, just disconnected off there. Right guys, so I've disconnected the two hoses on top. There's one 10mm here to undo for this bracket, one at the back, and obviously the Jubilee clip where it connects to the turbo as well. And there's also another 10mm clip just down here that also needs to be undone. So once they're all undone, we'll see where we're at. Okay, so here we go. Finally disconnected all of the intercooler bits. It's all gone, all nice and free, and it's all on the floor. So I'm going to set this stuff aside and start working out the routing for the new front mount intercooler. Right guys, so this is pretty much everything I've got. Compared to the picture on the Airtec website, it's pretty similar, other than it's obviously not assembled. So there's a connector in either side of these elbows that obviously you can't see because they're both butted up on there. And it's the same for this one too, and obviously all the pipe, all the elbows and everything, all the bends are at different angles on the website because it's all laying flat on the floor and it hasn't been assembled. So yeah, I've just got to look at the route, see where everything fits in, and try and work it out. So I've got more space and access to work around the back there. I'm going to remove my air filter, my catch can lines, my MAF and my heat shield, just so I've got more access, more room to work about and move around back there. Okay, so this kit, all of the silicone elbows, you can see where I've connected it down there to the turbo. Just haven't put the clip on yet because things may need to be adjusted, but all of the silicone elbows fit so tightly on the hard pipes. It's unreal, man. It's so hard to move anything, but I believe that is the first thing done. The first part of the routing done. What I'm going to do is, I think this piece then comes down from that hard pipe round and out underneath the car. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to disconnect it so I can fit it through the tight gaps. I'm going to take some of these bits apart and piece it back together myself in the tight gaps down here. So before I go any further with the routing, I'm going to remove the crash bar. So it's just going to be a couple of bolts on this side. It's obviously all linked up to the middle of the car, and a couple of bolts on that side as well. And I'm going to get that off and have a look at the one that the guy gave me as well, and see how he's adapted the one that he's given me. Okay, to remove the crash bar, you've got a 13mm bolt here, a Torx here, another 13 and another Torx. That's for this side, and then the other side's going to be the same. And you've also got a Torx in the middle, top and bottom, to undo as well. Right guys, so here are the two crash bars. here's the one that I was given, and this one over here is the one that I've just taken off the car. Now this one that I was given, it's not in the best shape. This actually is really weak and coming away, and over here it's all been sort of bonded back together, so it's no good. You can see the large section that's been cut out of it, but I was told it was just so that the intercooler could get more air, but to be honest with you, this part's behind the bumper anyway, so I don't think that's going to make much of a difference. Obviously there's a hole here drilled for the bottom, and a hole here drilled through the bottom so that the intercooler itself can be mounted on the crash bar, and there's a little bit that's been cut away, so I'm going to decide what I'm going to cut away, and obviously I'm going to use this as a reference point for where to drill my holes, but other than that I'll be throwing this crash bar here in the bin. Now after having kind of put this together, looking at it, I think the areas that need to be cut are around the point where it's going to be mounted, because it's not going to allow that bolt to go through fully. So this kind of area here, we're going to have to cut around this bracket just so that we can get the intercooler button up to the crash bar. Also, I believe this part is what causes trouble when you're trying to mount the intercooler. I'm going to lift the intercooler up now and show you. I'm pretty sure it comes into contact with that. Now as you can imagine, if this central piece here is going to go, we need something to replace it, and I don't know whether this comes as part of the kit or what, but I've been given this, which obviously doesn't come all the way down. It will only sort of link up this part here, so I'm assuming that this may be part of the kit. I don't know, like I said, I didn't get it out of the box and I don't have the instructions. Okay, so now I've marked out either side of the bracket where I just want to cut into this lip so that the bracket can sit flush with the crash bar on that side, and I've also done this side. So I'm going to get my grinder, cut a little rectangle out of here, take the bolts out and see how well it butts up to the crash bar. Right, so as you can see, cut out the slot in the crash bar. Now it sits over the bracket nicely, and I've also spotted through with my first drill bit through both holes so that I can then come through with my bigger drill bit and mount the intercooler to the crash bar. Okay, so the intercooler is mounted to the crash bar. Just need to get the crash bar back on the car. You can see I've got the Allen bolts here on the inside, same over here, and I've got the 13mm nuts on the bottom. I'm just going to lift it up now and see if it will mount up there nicely. Right guys, so just to let you know, I've trimmed some of this cowling away up here and across the bottom, so I've cut like a box out of it in order to fit it, because the intercooler doesn't fit unless you take a chunk of that cowling out. And I've also trimmed all the cowling down around the bottom to make it much easier. So it's time to put the crash bar and intercooler on the car. Okay, so I think I've figured my piping out. As you can see, I've got it here running under the tip all the way down here, and then it goes into the other black hard pipe, which is a 90-degree pipe, which brings it out just there. There's a bit of movement on it, so I'll pull it down, but when I go to attach this hose on like this, the horn is actually in the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove it, see if I can work something out of the bracket to get it facing another way, relocate it, get this pipe on, and then obviously I need to connect to the map sensor to here and fetch one of the other hoses that I took off earlier and connect these up, then put everything back together, like all the hoses for my catch can and my tip. I'm gonna have to relocate these pipes into this new hard pipe as well, and also the one for the N75 valve, which I've got here, and then that'll pretty much be it, I think. Right guys, so I've just removed the map sensor from the old intercooler. It's literally gonna link up in here now instead, so I'll be fitting that getting it all plugged in, linking up literally the last hose, dealing with my diverter valve and N75, putting it all back together, and then I'll be testing it. I didn't manage to finish the job yesterday because when I was going to put the map sensor on the new hard pipe on the intercooler, the problem was that it was fixed to the old intercooler by self-tapping screws, and this is actually threaded to take bolts. So I've had to wait until today to pop out in the morning, go and get myself 2 bolts just so I can mount the map sensor nicely up in there. So at least that's done now, and I can show you what I did with the horns as well. So the horn used to hang low down here, but now I've got it completely tucked up out of the way up here next to the other one, so you can see it there. I just cut the tabs off the bracket so it allows me to twist it all the way around, and now it's mounted in a different position, so it's completely out of the way for this part of the pipe work. Okay, so everything is now connected. The plumbing on this side is a little bit messy at the minute. I need to get a new silicone hose to go from my diverter valve to the charge pipe, and also I need to figure out how to reroute some of the hoses for the N75 valve, stuff like that. It's a bit of a tight squeeze, but we're there. All that's left to do now is start it, and then once I've started it and everything's all good, I'm going to give it a good little test drive, and then see if putting the bumper on causes me any difficulties. Okay, she's running, everything seems to be all good. I've just given it a quick blast just round here, because I know obviously the bumper's off, so just quick 5 seconds up and down the road. First, second gear, everything appears to be all good. So I'm gonna go and give fitting the front bumper a little whirl, see if I can get it on there nicely. If not, I'll have to leave it for another day because I'm running out of time. Right guys, so this is the part of the system that goes from where the map sensor is to the throttle body and intake manifold. I was actually looking online for a little while to find one of these, but it's literally just a silicone replacement for that rubber pipe down there. Mine's a bit flimsy, it's a little bit damaged. After having replaced everything apart from that pipe, I thought it'd be a shame to leave it and complete this video without buying one of these and fitting it. So yeah, I'll be doing that, then I'll be going through my test drive, and then fingers crossed that's the end of things and everything goes well. But I'll show you the pipe. It's this one here that will be getting replaced with this one instead, so it's going to look a lot nicer, and hopefully it makes a difference to the performance as well. I know these silicone ones can take a lot more heat and everything, and it's just a much better product, so I'll be replacing that now. Hopefully I don't have to take the bumper off to do it. I may well have to, but then I'll pretty much be done on this intercooler install. Right, so old versus new. Here's the old one. Big one looks like it's slightly larger on the inside. As you can see, this side's slightly bigger, and then it actually reduces down into the actual size of the pipe and then flares up again at this end, whereas this one seems like it carries the diameter the whole way down. So it should be a better product for sure. Whether I can fit it or not with the bumper on, I don't know. If I have to take it off, it's not the end of the world, but let's give it a go. That's it, all done, all back on, not even visible. Last thing I need to do now is just give it a good test drive, and I probably will take it apart at some point. I'll probably take some bits off on the inside. The bumper's coming off anyway because I'm going to spray the grills black and put a nice splitter on it, and I'm going to take it apart just to do some fettling underneath the bonnet. It needs some adjusting. I might be able to reroute a few other things in the engine bay just to make it a bit less tight, but other than that, it's all good, man. So I'll go for a test drive. I can't do it today, unfortunately, so I'm gonna have to do it, I think it's Saturday now, I'm probably gonna have to do it on Monday, but I'll give it a good blast, a good long blast, make sure it's all sweet, and then that'll be the end of this one. Okay, we're finished, man. Providing everything's good, I'm all done. The only thing about this one is that, again, it's tight in that gap down there. Everything just seems to be really tight in this engine bay. Obviously it came with a side mounted intercooler to start with, so fitting the front mount was never going to be easy, but we're done for now. Bumper's back on, because yeah, I had to take the bumper off in order to get this new one on, so it's time for a test drive. So everything appears fine still at the minute. Car's obviously still driving well, so that's all I need at the minute. I wasn't expecting it to be giving crazy performance differences either. Just needed to make sure that it was still drivable, which it is, and to make sure it wasn't any worse than before. Some people say that the car's a little bit more laggy. I don't know if I agree with that. There's certainly a larger volume of air, so it might be, but at the same time it can flow a lot more freely, because obviously you've got a larger intercooler, a larger pipework now as well, so it allows that air to work its way around to the intake manifold a lot more freely. Obviously it's less restrictive. Other than that, I don't really know what to say about it. But guys, that's going to be it for now anyway. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.